Alright, the Marathon Server Slam is now available. We've got a pretty good chunk of the game to start to get our heads around. And in this video, we're going to talk about factions, permanent reward unlocks, and how factions in the Armory are a very significant part of becoming stronger in Marathon, right? The game itself generally has quite a steep learning curve, which applies to the moment-to-moment gameplay, but also to a lot of the systems in the game, including the faction skill trees, and how they influence being able to unlock pretty high-tier rewards for direct purchase, right? And hopefully for any folks who are a bit wobbled by the UI and the amount of menus in the game, I can appreciate it's a lot to take in. It's taken me a long time as well. So hopefully this video will help out at least a little bit on that front too. Let's go over some basics right here. I believe there is a limit on how many ranks we can actually gain during the Server Slam, because the amount of priority contracts we can get access to seems to be limited. But when we go into factions, we have firstly, the Agent here will unlock reward caches every time we level up. I believe factions will have a total of 30 ranks, so the first 20 ranks are the kind of standard ones, and then I believe the final 10 are what they refer to as VIP ranks. So as we get further into the Marathon endgame, as far as we understand it, the VIP ranks will start to give us more access to higher level prestige items. And Bungie have confirmed in the full game, those upgrades that augment our armory will allow us to get direct purchase to some of the higher tier versions of build crafting items like cores, implants, and weapon mods. Each of these upgrades lasts for the duration of the season, so you don't have to worry about losing them when you die, and depending on the faction, completing the entirety of their priority contracts or reaching VIP unlocks gold items for purchase in the armory. So while not all of this is visible in the Server Slam, faction leveling and upgrades will be incredibly impactful in Marathon's endgame. And the devs also said gold implants, for instance, provide you with their own unique, powerful passives that almost feel like abilities in addition to their random passives. Occasionally we'll find some of that stuff early on in the Server Slam already, but it's safe to say there is a big investment component to Marathon in terms of becoming more powerful. So in order to actually level the factions up, we'll need to complete their contracts. Priority contracts obviously provide the most progress, and there is a limit on how many priority contracts we get in the Server Slam. But ultimately, that allows us to progress along the skill tree for each faction. And for all of the factions, these skills are broken down into different categories, as we can see. So firstly, there's inventory. That affects things like the amount of vault space we have. This is just one example, but we can increase the vault size by adding additional rows. But other categories include things like armory. These upgrades actually unlock things for direct purchase in the armory, which we'll get onto in a moment. But there's also stat boosts, and these will last for the duration of the season. So looking at basic stuff, you've got loot speed increases how quickly items are revealed when looting containers. And sometimes there are additional functions as well, like being able to increase data card credit rewards by 50%. And for each of the upgrades, obviously, there is a rank threshold we actually have to reach with the faction, and then specific currencies or items that we need in order to purchase those upgrades. So early on, they're very basic, more or less just requiring things like credits, as we can see. And then as we expand those, we start to require additional materials that we find during raids. So that is essentially the progression system here. Pick a faction, then activate and complete contracts to actually level up. And if you're curious about any of the currencies here, credits are pretty much always required for faction upgrades, and we earn those during runs and by selling gear. You might be curious about another currency called Silk, which if you've played a little bit already, you've probably maxed it out. That currency is actually for the Battle Pass, which isn't available in the Server Slam, so for the moment, you can pretty much ignore it, but when we get into the full game, as we earn Silk, we'll be looking to spend it consistently to grab stuff from the Battle Pass. The rank thresholds that we reach with the factions here, though, do unlock additional things that we find in the Armory. So Armory is found in the loadout tab. Here we can pick up free sponsor kits and stuff, but additionally, each of the factions has its own set of Armory wares. And based on how far we've leveled those factions, we'll be able to unlock things for direct purchase. So you've got stuff like standard weapons. Obviously, these are the lowest rarity pieces of gear. But as we get more upgrades, the quality of these items actually starts to improve. So you've got stuff like superior gear, enhanced and deluxe weapons. Then occasionally we'll start to see prestige items, which are the yellow ones. And the really important thing about this is that it acts as a safety net, really, because as long as we level those factions up to the right thresholds, we're going to get direct purchase options for various different items. Obviously, the majority of higher tier, kind of purple superior items or yellow prestige items are things that we actually find in game, killing high value targets, engaging with events in the world, and indeed stealing them from other players. But don't underestimate how big this will be, especially once we start to max those factions out. As we mentioned, the VIP ranks towards the end of the progression system will unlock significantly more prestige items into this armory pool. So it's a really big part of becoming more consistently powerful in the game. The other thing in the menus here, obviously, is the Codex, which is basically a bunch of challenges, achievements, and additional objectives, so be sure to pay attention to those, and the faction agent rewards that we get as we actually rank them up. I assume that the challenges in the Codex, or a bunch of them at least, will refresh on a seasonal basis. Plus, there are quite a few cosmetic things that can be unlocked via the Codex as well. So while the game itself, the events in the world, kind of resource hotspots and high value targets do form a big part of the kind of gameplay reward structure, chasing the faction rewards and upgrades do make us stronger over time. So that's the basic kind of breakdown, how to get some permanent gear unlocks, stat boosts, and how those faction contracts and upgrades play into ultimately the endgame of Marathon. So let me know your thoughts on it and the kind of presentation of the factions, the loadout screen, Vault, Armory, and all that kind of stuff. Gameplay itself has a fairly steep learning curve, but even some of these systems take a little bit of time to get your head around, so give me your impressions, tips, or experiences down below. If you found the video helpful, a rating would really help us out as well. If you're curious about my general impressions of Marathon, I did post a video last night, which had some really early impressions of the game in general. I think one of the challenges with Marathon is that, as we said, the skill curve and the learning curve is pretty steep, and when you first start out, you're going to feel relatively weak versus the stuff that we'll be able to unlock later on in the game. But of course, the game generally is going to become more hardcore as we get access to more of that stuff too. So I'd love to get your general feels in the comment section as well. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
We're good. There's the worst extraction into me as well.
Mate, I've got no ammo. Boys, I'm scared. What are we gonna do?
And I've just crashed.
Oh no.
No.
See if I can get back.
Punch him!
How long is it?
Why won't my melee connect?
I'll just move. Try and push him into the exfil zone.
It's so hard to do.
How long's left on the extraction?
Don't know. But you're down. Oh, I expect to move you.
You are?
Get in. You sort of in. You should be able to get out.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, you're out.
Wait.
We've defeated the freaking error codes. I feel like Johnny knows a lot more about what's going on. Because, like, look at his value. He's got, like, 3.5 grand. I mean, I've got 900 and Duddits has got 200.